There's something moving in the air right now, and it's not just the wind. Most of us go through life believing the air around us is empty. We breathe in, we breathe out, and we think that's all there is to it. Oxygen coming in, carbon dioxide going out. But what if I told you that every breath you take is carrying an entire universe of information? What if the very space around you, the space you think of as nothing, is actually alive, woven together with energy so intricate, so intelligent, that it quietly shapes everything you see, everything you feel, and everything you believe to be real? This isn't poetry. This isn't fantasy. It's a truth that ancient civilizations understood thousands of years ago, and that we, in our modern world, have forgotten long before science had a name for atoms, frequencies, or electromagnetic fields. The great civilizations, Egypt, Greece, the ancient mystery schools were already exploring the hidden fabric of reality. They knew the air was not just air. They saw it as a living field, like an invisible ocean that connects every being, every planet, every star. To them, it was sacred. They built temples, monuments, and entire cities based on the flow of this energy, because they understood when you align yourself with it, you heal. When you fight against it, you suffer. Over time, this knowledge was protected. Not everyone was ready to hold it. Because imagine what would happen if every single person understood that they are not powerless, that they are, in fact, the very architects of their reality. Imagine if you knew, deep down, that no government, no system, no external force could truly control you unless you first surrendered your own inner field. A humanity that understands this cannot be manipulated. And so, this wisdom became hidden, passed down quietly, through secret circles, through symbols and rituals, until only a very small group, those at the highest levels, the so-called 33rd degree, were taught its full depth. For the rest of us, it became myth, a story to be doubted, or worse, dismissed as nonsense. But here's the thing. Truth has a way of whispering through the cracks. You may not see it, but you can feel it. That quiet pull in your chest when something doesn't add up. That moment when you just know there's more to life than the surface you've been shown. That's not imagination. That's resonance. It's your own field responding to something ancient, something real. The air you are breathing right now is not just a mix of gases. It's a matrix of living energy, carrying subtle frequencies from the sun, the moon, the planets, and even from the thoughts and emotions of every person alive. Every laugh, every tear, every heartbeat leaves an imprint, and those imprints travel through this unseen ocean, interacting with you in ways you can't see but can definitely feel. Think about it like this: when you walk into a room where two people have been arguing, you don't need them to say a word. You can feel the tension, that heavy, invisible weight in the air. Isn't psychological, it's literal. It's a disturbance in the energetic field. And your body, like a finely tuned instrument, picks it up instantly. Ancient teachers knew how to work with these fields deliberately. They practiced breathing techniques to draw in the purest forms of this energy, strengthening their own magnetic field and protecting it from outside interference. They built sacred spaces, temples, and pyramids designed to amplify harmony and dissolve discord. And most importantly, they understood that your personal energy is your greatest freedom, no matter what chaos swirls around you. If your inner field is intact, you cannot be controlled. Modern life has taught us to ignore this. We're told we're just flesh and bone, separate from each other, separate from the earth, separate from the stars. But separation is an illusion. Every breath you take connects you back to the whole. With each inhale, you're taking in a piece of the cosmos sunlight that left the sun 8 minutes ago, processed through Earth's atmosphere, arriving at this exact moment to nourish you. And with each exhale, you release a signature, your signature back into the collective field we all share. This is why awareness matters. Because the moment you remember that you are part of this living ocean, you stop seeing yourself as a victim of life. You begin to understand that life is not happening to you, it is happening through you. Your thoughts are not private. Your emotions are not isolated. They ripple outward, touching others, just as theirs ripple back to you. And as overwhelming as that might seem, it's also incredibly empowering. It means you have the ability, right now, to change the frequency you are putting into this shared field. This is not about effort or force. It's not about clenching your fists and trying to make things happen. It's about softening, allowing, becoming like a river that flows naturally, instead of a dam holding everything back. The ancient ones understood this. The highest mastery is not control in the rigid sense. It's alignment. When you align with the natural currents of life, things begin to move effortlessly. Synchronicities appear, doors open, healing happens. So today, as you listen to these words, let this be more than information. Let it be a remembrance, a stirring in your own heart that says, I've always known this. I just forgot. The truth isn't far away. It's in the breath you are taking right now. It's in the space between the beats of your heart. It's been here all along, patiently waiting for you to see it, to feel it, to claim it again. Because you are not just someone living inside this field of energy. You are the field itself. And when you truly know that, nothing and no one can ever control you again. 1. The air, the flow of the universe. Take a slow, deep breath with me right now. Feel it as it enters your lungs, filling every corner of your chest. To most people, this is nothing more than oxygen moving in and out, a basic act of survival, automatic and often unnoticed. But the truth is, each breath is far more than a biological function. It is a conversation between you and the universe. The air you breathe is alive. It carries stories, memories, and vibrations far older than you and me. It has traveled across oceans and mountaintops, through forests and cities, brushing past countless lives before reaching you. This same air has touched the ancient pyramids of Egypt, flowed through sacred temples, and drifted across places of both great suffering and great healing. When you breathe in, you are not just filling your body with oxygen. You are downloading the subtle energies of the cosmos. The sun, the moon, and every planet in our solar system are constantly sending out unique frequencies, like musical notes in a grand, universal symphony. These frequencies are invisible to the eye, yet they shape the tides of our emotions, the rhythms of our thoughts, and even the choices we make. Venus whispers to you through the air, carrying the gentle harmony of love and connection. Mars sends a fiery vibration, urging movement, action, and sometimes conflict. Jupiter expands through your breath, filling you with the energy of growth and abundance. And Saturn, steady and firm, reminds you of boundaries, structure, and lessons you cannot skip on your path of becoming. Even if you don't believe in astrology, you can feel this truth in your body. Think about the way certain days feel charged, intense, or strangely peaceful, as if the world itself has shifted its tone. This isn't just your imagination. It's the influence of these cosmic frequencies moving through the very air you breathe. When you take a deep, conscious breath, you are welcoming this intricate dance of energies into your being. You are saying, I am open. I am here. I am ready to receive what life has to offer. I used to take my breath for granted. I moved through the world as if breathing was just another background function, like a clock ticking on the wall. But there came a time when life felt unbearably heavy, when my own thoughts turned against me and my body felt like a prison. It was during those dark nights that I discovered the quiet power of simply breathing with awareness. I began to notice that each breath carried a certain texture, Some were sharp and restless, like waves crashing in a storm. Others were soft and warm, like sunlight on water. Slowly, I realized that I wasn't just breathing air, I was breathing information, breathing the essence of the universe itself. When I breathed deeply with presence, my mind began to quiet. When I exhaled fully, I could feel myself releasing old pain, old patterns, as if the very act of breathing was clearing my inner space. And in those moments, I understood something simple yet profound. The universe is speaking to us all the time, and our breath is how we listen. Imagine this. The sunlight you see right now left the sun 8 minutes ago. It traveled through space, passed through Earth's magnetic layers. And now, at this exact moment, it enters your body through your breath. You are inhaling stardust, cosmic energy that has been transformed into a form your cells can understand. With every inhale, you take in this universal code, and with every exhale, you return a piece of yourself to the collective field we all share. It's like writing and rewriting a letter between you and the infinite, an endless conversation that never truly ends. This is why ancient cultures considered breathing a sacred act. The yogis spoke of prana, the life force in the air. The Taoist masters called it qi, the bridge between heaven and earth. The alchemists referred to it as spiritus mundi, the spirit of the world dissolved in the atmosphere. They were all pointing to the same thing. The air is not empty. It is alive with energy and intelligence. When you forget this, life feels random and disconnected. You start to believe you are separate from others, separate from nature, separate even from yourself. But when you remember, when you truly feel the life in the air moving through you, everything changes. Suddenly, your breath becomes a guide. On days when you are overwhelmed, it tells you to slow down, to anchor yourself in the present moment. On days when you feel stagnant, it nudges you to inhale more deeply, to invite new energy and new possibilities into your life. The planets, the stars, the entire cosmos are not somewhere out there. They are here, now, inside you, communicating through the invisible threads woven into each breath. When you breathe consciously, you are harmonizing with this grand orchestra, tuning your inner instrument to the frequencies of love, action, growth, and wisdom. So, the next time you pause to take a breath, close your eyes and imagine you are standing in the middle of a vast ocean of energy. Each inhale is a wave flowing toward you, carrying messages from the sun, the moon, and the countless stars. Each exhale is a wave returning to that ocean, carrying your own unique vibration back to the universe. You are not just breathing air, you are participating in the flow of creation itself. And when you realize this, breathing becomes more than survival. It becomes an act of remembrance, a way to come home to who you truly are. Because in every breath, the universe is saying to you, softly and endlessly, you are not separate. You are not alone. You are part of me, and I am part of you. 2. The energy field surrounding the body. There is something around you right now that you cannot see, but you can feel like the warmth of sunlight on your skin, or the hush of a quiet room when someone you love enters. It's subtle, almost silent, yet it's been with you since the day you took your first breath. This is your energy field, an invisible extension of who you are. It stretches outward, far beyond the edges of your skin, reaching several feet, sometimes even meters into the space around you. You may not see it, but you have felt it. We all have. Have you ever walked into a room and instantly sensed the mood before anyone spoke a single word? Or met someone for the first time and felt an inexplicable comfort or a sudden unease? That is the language of energy. Speaking before voices, before thoughts. It is your field meeting another. 2 invisible oceans, touching and reacting to each other. Over a century ago, A man named Walter John Kilner sought to prove what ancient traditions had always known. He wasn't a mystic or a dreamer. He was a respected physician, head of electrotherapy at a major hospital in London. Driven by curiosity, he experimented with special photographic techniques and filters, hoping to see what lies beyond ordinary vision. To his amazement, he discovered something extraordinary, a luminous field surrounding every human body. He documented 3 distinct layers. The first layer, a thin band hugging the skin, acted like a protective shield, the body's first line of defense against the world. The second layer, stretching further out, reflected the state of the internal organs. It was like a living map, showing balance or imbalance long before a doctor could detect any physical symptom. The third layer expanded several feet outward, connecting you to the environment and to other people. It is through this layer that you silently communicate with the world around you, whether you are aware of it or not. Kilner's research was groundbreaking because it confirmed something that spiritual teachers had whispered for centuries. Illness begins in the energy field before it ever reaches the body. Think about that for a moment. Long before you feel pain, before a lump is discovered, before a diagnosis is given, there is a subtle shift in your energy field. It might appear as a distortion, like ripples in a still pond after a stone is thrown. It might show up as a darkened area, where the natural flow has slowed or become stuck. And if nothing is done to restore balance, these distortions gradually make their way inward, finally showing themselves as physical symptoms. This is why some people describe sensing that something is wrong, even when medical tests show nothing unusual. Their field knows before their mind does. Their body whispers before it screams. I've witnessed this truth in my own life. Years ago, before I understood any of this, I went through a period of intense stress and grief. Outwardly, I seemed fine functioning, even successful by society's standards. But inside, my energy was fractured. I remember standing in front of a mirror one night, feeling an emptiness I couldn't explain. It was as though part of me had drifted away, leaving only a shell. Months later, my body began to reflect this hidden fracture. Fatigue, aches that seemed to come from nowhere, a heaviness in my chest that no doctor could explain. Looking back, I realized the symptoms weren't random. They were echoes of the imbalance in my field, finally breaking through to the surface. My body was simply delivering the message my energy had been carrying all along. When you understand this, healing takes on a deeper meaning. It's no longer just about treating the physical body, the symptoms, the pain, the visible damage. True healing begins in the invisible spaces, in the subtle energy that surrounds you like a soft cocoon. This doesn't mean you should reject modern medicine or stop caring for your physical body. It means adding another layer of awareness, recognizing that your body and your energy are partners, 2 halves of the same whole. When one is nourished, the other strengthens. When one is neglected, the other suffers. Imagine your energy field as a garden. When the soil is rich and vibrant, plants grow strong and healthy. But if the soil is dry or contaminated, even the most beautiful seeds will struggle to survive. In the same way, your body is like those plants. It depends on the health of the unseen soil, the energy field in which it lives. When anger, fear, or grief are left unresolved, they act like toxins in that soil, slowly draining vitality. When love, gratitude, and forgiveness flow freely, they nourish the field, allowing your body to thrive. This is why emotional and spiritual practices, meditation, prayer, mindful breathing, can feel so powerful. They don't just calm the mind, they restore the balance of the field, which in turn supports the body's natural ability to heal. The third layer of the field, the one that connects you to others, is perhaps the most fascinating. Through it, we exchange energy constantly, often without realizing it. Think about how you feel after spending time with someone who radiates peace and kindness. You leave lighter, uplifted, as if you've been bathed in sunlight. Now think about how drained you feel after being around someone who is perpetually angry or fearful. This isn't metaphorical. It's literal. Your field is interacting with theirs, and the quality of that exchange shapes how you feel. This is why it's so important to be mindful of the company you keep, the environments you enter, and the energy you allow into your life. There's a beautiful simplicity in all of this. You don't need to see your energy field to begin caring for it. You don't need special cameras or scientific proof, though the proof exists. All you need is awareness. When you feel heavy, tense, or off, pause and listen. That discomfort is your field, asking for attention. Maybe it needs rest. Maybe it needs forgiveness. Maybe it needs you to step outside, take off your shoes, and reconnect with the earth beneath your feet. Your energy field is not separate from you. It is you, the deeper you, the truer you, the part of you that extends far beyond the limits of flesh and bone. If you take nothing else from these words, remember this. Healing is not just about fixing what you can see. It's about tending to what you cannot. Your thoughts, your emotions, your connections with others. All of these ripple through your field, shaping the health of your body and the quality of your life. When you nurture your field, you are nurturing the very foundation of your existence. And perhaps, as you though, you'll begin to see that the space around you isn't empty at all. It's alive, vibrant, and full of possibility, a quiet, invisible testament to the truth that you are so much more than you've ever been taught to believe. 3. The energy in food. Living food and dead food. I want you to imagine something with me for a moment. Picture yourself holding an apple in your hand. At first glance, it's just food, a piece of fruit. Red and simple, but if you close your eyes and truly feel, you'll notice there's more than meets the eye. That apple carries a story, it carries a vibration, it carries life. Food is not just about calories or nutrients, though that's what we've been taught to believe. Our modern world has reduced eating to a science of numbers, grams of protein, percentages of fat, daily values, and charts on the back of packages. But this way of thinking misses something essential. Something ancient. Food is energy, and every bite you take is a transfer of that energy into your body, your mind, and your spirit. When food is grown in harmony with nature, when it ripens under the sun, nourished by healthy soil, tended to with care, it holds a complete, vibrant field of energy. This is what I call living food. It's not just fresh in the physical sense. It's alive in a deeper way. It carries the natural frequency of life itself. Imagine a tomato that grew in rich earth, kissed by rainwater, warmed by sunlight. When you eat that tomato, you are taking in more than its vitamins or minerals. You are absorbing its entire story, the vitality of the sun, the rhythm of the rain, the silent patience of the earth. Your cells recognize this harmony, and they respond. They rebuild. They heal. They remember what it feels like to be whole. Now, let's contrast this with what so much of our food has become today. Picture a different kind of apple. It was grown in a factory-like orchard, under artificial light, sprayed with chemicals, picked long before it was ripe, and stored for weeks in cold rooms before being waxed and placed on a supermarket shelf. It may look perfect on the outside, shiny, uniform, appealing, but energetically, it is hollow. The natural frequency that once flowed through it has been disrupted, fragmented, even destroyed. When you bite into it, your body receives the calories. Yes, but not the life force. This is what I call dead food. Dead food doesn't just fail to nourish you, it drains you. It's like trying to recharge a battery by plugging it into a broken outlet. Instead of giving you energy, it forces your body to work harder, to fight against the disharmony it carries. Over time, this creates fatigue, imbalance, and eventually illness. I learned this truth the hard way. There was a time in my life when I ate whatever was fast and convenient packaged meals, microwave dinners, the food made to last on shelves, rather than to support life. I didn't think about where it came from or how it was prepared. I was always tired. No matter how much I slept, my mood was unstable, my thoughts clouded, and my body seemed to be in a constant state of complaint. One day, a friend handed me a bowl of fresh salad from her garden. It was simple lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, nothing fancy. But when I took the first bite, something strange happened. It was as if my body woke up. The taste was vibrant, alive, unlike anything I'd eaten in years. In that moment, I understood. I hadn't just been hungry for nutrients. I'd been starving for energy, for the frequency of life itself. When you eat, you are making an energetic choice. You are choosing what kind of vibration you bring into your body. Every meal is a conversation between you and the universe. Fresh, living food says, I honor my body. I align with life. Processed, industrial food says, I disconnect. I choose convenience over vitality. This isn't about guilt or judgment. It's about awareness. Once you become aware, you begin to notice the difference. Your body will tell you, living food leaves you feeling light, clear, and energized. Dead food leaves you feeling heavy, sluggish, and unsatisfied. No matter how much you eat, think about how a flower reacts when placed in clean water versus dirty water. In clean water, it stands tall, its colors bright, its petals open wide. In dirty water, it begins to wilt, its vibrancy fading day by day. Your body is no different. The food you consume is the water in which your inner garden grows. If that food carries life, you will flourish. If it carries decay, you will slowly wither. Microwave ovens, chemical additives, and industrial processing don't just change the physical structure of food, they disrupt its energetic structure. For example, microwaving flips the natural polarity of water molecules, creating what some sensitive people describe as energetically dead water. Pasteurisation, irradiation, and heavy processing might preserve food for storage and transport, but they strip it of the very frequency your body needs to thrive. This is why so many of us eat and eat, yet never feel truly nourished. We are consuming quantity, but not quality. We are feeding the body while starving the soul. The path back to vitality doesn't require perfection. It doesn't mean you must grow all your own food or give up every convenience overnight. It begins with small, conscious choices, choosing a fresh apple over a packaged snack, drinking water instead of soda, cooking a simple meal rather than reheating something pre-made. Each time you choose living food, you are saying yes to yourself. You are telling your body, I care for you, I value you, and your body responds in kind, gradually rebuilding its energy field, strengthening its defenses, and creating a sense of harmony you can both feel and see. Food is sacred. It is a bridge between the seen and unseen, between the earth and your own spirit. When you sit down to eat, pause for a moment. Look at what is on your plate and ask yourself, am I about to consume life or decay? When you choose life, you invite vitality to flow through you. When you choose decay, you invite a struggle. The beauty is that this choice is always yours, waiting for you at every meal, every day. And with each choice, you are not just feeding your body, you are shaping the energy that defines who you are and who you are becoming. 4. The power of meditation and alignment. There's a kind of silence that feels alive. It's not the absence of sound, but the presence of something deeper, a quiet hum beneath all the noise of life. You might catch it in rare moments early in the morning before the world wakes up. or late at night when everything finally slows down. That hum, that rhythm, is the heartbeat of the Earth itself. Scientists call it the Schumann resonance, measured at 7,83 Hertz. It's the frequency that our planet naturally vibrates at, like a gentle pulse that connects all living things. And here's the extraordinary part: you are built to harmonize with that same rhythm. When your body and mind fall out of sync with it, as they often do in our chaotic modern world, you feel scattered, anxious, restless. But when you reconnect to that natural frequency, something beautiful happens. Your entire being begins to heal. Meditation is one of the simplest, most profound ways to return to this alignment. When you sit in stillness, when you close your eyes and breathe deeply, you are doing far more than relaxing. You are tuning yourself, like an instrument, back to the original note you were always meant to play. I like to think of it like this. Imagine your life as a piece of music. When you're rushing through your days, pulled in 100 directions, it's like the song becomes distorted notes, clashing, rhythm lost, harmony broken. Meditation brings you back to the pure melody. It reminds you of what you truly sound like. Modern science has only just begun to glimpse what ancient teachers have known for thousands of years. When you enter a deep meditative state, your brain waves slow down, your heart rate steadies, your breathing becomes smooth and full. In this state, your energy field, that invisible web surrounding you, begins to synchronize with the Earth's frequency. And as this happens, healing begins naturally, without force, without effort. Distortions in your energy field start to dissolve. Places where your energy once felt tangled or blocked begin to flow freely again. The tears in your field, created by stress, trauma, or emotional pain, slowly knit themselves back together, like a wound closing under gentle light. The chaos in your mind begins to soften. Thoughts that once raced endlessly start to settle, like sediment, sinking to the bottom of a clear pond. This is why people often describe feeling lighter after meditation, as if a weight has been lifted, because in a very real way, it has. I didn't always understand this. There was a time in my life when sitting still felt impossible. My mind was a constant storm of worries, regrets, and what-ifs. Whenever I tried to meditate, I'd get frustrated. I thought, I must be doing it wrong. But meditation isn't about forcing the mind to be quiet. It's about creating a space where the natural harmony of your being can re-emerge. Think of it like untangling a necklace. If you pull hard, the knots tighten. But if you're patient, if you breathe and gently work through the tangles, the chain loosens on its own. Your energy works the same way. Meditation is the gentle hand that restores flow without strain. As I practiced over time, I began to notice subtle changes. My sleep improved. My breath felt deeper, more nourishing. Even the way I interacted with others shifted. I became less reactive, more compassionate. But the most profound change was internal. For the first time in years, I felt connected to myself, to others, to something larger than all of us. It wasn't a dramatic revelation. It was quiet, like finally hearing a faint melody you didn't know you'd been missing. Some people believe meditation is purely spiritual, while others see it as just a way to calm the mind. The truth is, it's both and more. Meditation is a scientific process, one that allows your body and energy field to reset, to align with the Earth's natural rhythm. When this alignment happens, your immune system strengthens, your nervous system relaxes, and your emotional balance improves. It's not magic. It's biology meeting energy, two sides of the same truth. Imagine a forest after a storm. Branches broken, soil disrupted, everything in chaos. Given time and the right conditions, the forest restores itself. The trees grow new leaves. The streams run clear again. Meditation creates those conditions within you. It gives your inner landscape the stillness it needs to heal and regenerate. The beautiful thing is that this healing doesn't require belief. You don't have to try to make it happen. Just like you don't have to tell a cut on your skin how to mend, your energy field knows how to return to wholeness when given the chance. Meditation simply opens the door. Even a few minutes of daily practice can shift your life in remarkable ways. It doesn't matter if your mind wanders or if some days feel harder than others. Every breath, every moment of awareness is a step toward alignment. As you sit in silence, you may begin to notice a subtle vibration, a quiet hum deep within you. That is the resonance of the earth, the rhythm that has always been there. When you align with it, you remember that you are not separate, not lost, not broken. You are part of a greater whole, a note in the symphony of life. So when the world feels overwhelming, when your heart feels heavy and your thoughts are tangled, return to your breath. Close your eyes. Allow the storm to settle. In that stillness, you will find the pulse of the earth. And with it, the truth that healing has always been yours. Meditation is not an escape from life. It is the deepest way of returning to it whole, present, and beautifully aligned. 5. The impact of emotions and thoughts. There are moments in life when words are unnecessary. You can walk into a room and feel the weight of anger hanging in the air, even if no one has spoken a single word. Or you meet someone whose presence alone seems to calm you, to bring you peace, and you can't explain why. These experiences remind us of a truth that goes far deeper than language. Everything you feel and everything you think has a vibration. And that vibration is constantly shaping your body, your relationships, and your life. Your emotions are not invisible. Your thoughts are not private. Each one sends out a signal, like a pebble dropped into still water, creating ripples that move outward and inward. Those ripples touch your own cells first, then the people around you, and finally the environment itself. Your body, in its quiet wisdom, doesn't respond to the words you say or the mask you wear. It responds to the frequency you actually emit. I learned this lesson during a time when my life was full of conflict. Outwardly, I tried to appear strong and composed. I smiled when I was supposed to smile, spoke calmly even when anger burned inside me. But my body knew the truth I was trying to hide. I began to feel tightness in my chest, stomach pains that came without warning, headaches that no medicine could fully ease. At first, I thought these were random health problems. But as the months went on, I noticed a pattern. The more I suppressed my emotions, the louder my body seemed to speak. It was as if it were saying, "If you won't acknowledge what's happening in your heart, I will show you through your flesh." This is not just metaphorical, it's literal. Science has started to confirm what ancient healers have always understood. Every emotion carries a specific energetic signature. Anger, grief, fear, joy, gratitude. They are not just feelings. They are currents of electromagnetic energy moving through your nervous system, through your organs, through the fields surrounding your body. When those currents flow freely, you feel vibrant and balanced. When they are blocked, suppressed, or destructive, they leave scars, not just emotionally, but physically. Think of a lie. For instance, it seems small, just words spoken into the air. But the energy behind a lie disrupts the natural harmony of your field. Over time, these disruptions tend to show up in very specific places. A lie creates a fracture in the energy around the throat, the center of communication and expression. If you continue to lie, especially to yourself, that fracture grows. Eventually, it can manifest as thyroid problems, vocal strain, or metabolic imbalances. It's as if the body says, "If you won't speak your truth, I will show you what it costs." Anger works in a different way. When anger bursts forth like fire, It shakes the energy field around the solar plexus, the area that governs digestion and personal power. One moment of rage can feel like a storm tearing through this delicate space. If this becomes a pattern, anger held and fed, over months or years, the storm never ends. The field in that region remains in constant turbulence. And what happens when a storm goes on for too long? The land beneath it begins to erode. Similarly, your organs begin to suffer. Ulcers, liver problems, diabetes. These are physical echoes of emotional storms left unresolved. But here's the beautiful truth. Just as destructive emotions can tear us apart, healing emotions can rebuild us. Love and gratitude are not just nice ideas or sentimental gestures. They are powerful, measurable frequencies that strengthen and repair your energy field. When you hold a thought of genuine appreciation for a person, a moment, even something as simple as the sunlight on your face, your field lights up. It becomes coherent, strong, harmonious. Your body responds instantly, releasing tension, improving circulation, balancing hormones. You feel lighter because, energetically, you are lighter. I've seen this in my own life. During a time of deep grief, when everything felt broken, I began a simple practice. Each morning, before getting out of bed, I would place my hand on my heart and name 3 things I was grateful for. Some days, the only thing I could think of was, I am grateful for this breath. I am grateful for this chance to try again. But even that was enough. Over time, something shifted. The pain didn't disappear overnight, but the heaviness in my body began to lift. My chest felt open again. My thoughts became clearer. It was as if my energy field was being stitched back together, thread by thread. With each moment of gratitude, this is why it's so important to be honest about what you feel, not only with others, but with yourself. When you deny your emotions, you don't erase them. You simply push them inward, where they wait, building pressure until they finally erupt through illness or breakdown. Your body isn't your enemy. It's your messenger. Every symptom, every ache, every unexpected pain is a signal saying, look here, pay attention. Something needs to be acknowledged. When you begin to see emotions and thoughts as energy, everything changes. You realize that self-care is not selfish, it's essential. You understand why certain relationships drain you, while others lift you up. You stop judging yourself for feeling too much, and instead ask, what is this energy trying to tell me? Most importantly, you learn that you are not powerless. Just as you can harm your energy field with lies, anger, or fear, you can heal it with love, truth, and presence. Each kind word you speak, each moment of forgiveness, each breath taken with awareness is like a note of harmony sent into your field. Over time, these notes become a song of wholeness, a song your body knows how to dance to. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, pause it, close your eyes, breathe deeply, ask yourself, what am I really feeling right now? Whatever the answer, don't judge it, simply acknowledge it. Because the moment you do, that energy begins to move. And when energy moves, healing begins. Your body doesn't respond to the words you speak out loud. It responds to the truth you carry inside. Choose to carry a frequency of love, of gratitude, of authenticity, and watch as your body, your relationships, and your life begin to transform in ways you never thought possible. 6. The magnetic crisis of the modern age. Sometimes, I look around at the world we live in today and feel a quiet sadness. Not because we lack technology or comfort, in fact. We've built more convenience into our lives than any generation before us. But hidden beneath all this progress is a cost that most of us never see. A cost that is slowly draining our vitality and disrupting the natural harmony that once flowed through every living being. We are surrounded by an invisible storm, A storm made of frequencies and signals, pulsing through the air around us, every second of every day. Wi-Fi routers hum in our homes. Cell phones press against our ears. Televisions and computer screens glow late into the night, feeding us light that our bodies were never designed to process. We live bathed in an ocean of artificial energy, yet we rarely stop to ask what it's doing to us. The human body evolved in a world where the only frequencies were natural ones: the magnetic field of the earth, the subtle pull of the moon, the warmth of the sun. These were the rhythms our ancestors lived by: waking with sunrise, sleeping under the stars, walking barefoot on soil that carried the planet's steady pulse. But now, many of us live surrounded by concrete, steel, and glass. We spend our days inside high-rise buildings that block the Earth's magnetic field like cages. Our shoes have thick rubber soles that isolate us from the ground, cutting off the natural discharge of stagnant energy that happens when we make direct contact with the Earth. Even the clothes we wear: synthetic fibers, plastics, artificial dyes disrupt the way energy moves across our skin. And all around us, artificial lights keep our bodies from knowing when it's truly day or night. Slowly, without realizing it, we have separated ourselves from the very forces that keep us balanced. When I was a child, life felt different. I didn't have words for it then, but I can see it clearly now. There was a certain peace that came from spending hours outside, climbing trees, sitting by a river, lying in the grass, and staring at the clouds. Back then, I felt connected. The earth held me, nourished me, aligned me. Now, as an adult, I've experienced the opposite. There were years when I lived in a cramped apartment in a busy city, surrounded by Wi-Fi signals, cell towers, and constant noise. My sleep became restless. My thoughts were scattered, like a radio dial, turned between stations. Even my body began to ache in strange and more persistent ways. At the time, I thought it was just stress. But when I finally left the city and spent a few days in nature, something miraculous happened. My body began to reset. My breathing deepened. My mind cleared. I felt like I was coming home to myself. That's when I understood it wasn't just stress that had been weighing me down. It was energetic pollution. Every piece of modern technology we use gives off a frequency. Individually, they seem small, harmless, but together, they create a web of interference that scrambles our natural rhythms. It's like trying to hear a gentle song while standing in the middle of a crowded, noisy street. The song is still there, but you can't hear it clearly anymore. Our nervous systems are sensitive instruments. They depend on clarity, on a stable connection to the Earth's magnetic field. When bombarded by artificial signals, they go into a kind of emergency mode. We become restless, anxious, irritable. Sleep becomes shallow. Our immune systems weaken. And over time, this constant state of imbalance takes a toll on both our physical health and our emotional well-being. But the crisis isn't only about technology. It's also about the systems we've built around money and power. Think about how much of your energy is spent not just working, but worrying about bills, about debts, about numbers on a screen that don't even exist in physical form. Digital money, virtual transactions, endless streams of data moving between banks and devices. None of it is tangible, yet we trade our very life force for it. In a strange way, modern economics has become a system of energetic exchange. You pour hours, days, even decades of your vitality into tasks that often leave you drained and disconnected. In return, you receive numbers, symbols of value, that have no true magnetic presence. And because these numbers are intangible, they never feel like enough. So you give more and more of yourself, chasing a sense of security that always seems just out of reach. It's as if the entire structure of our economy has been designed to harvest human energy, leaving us spiritually bankrupt. Even when we appear financially stable, the result is a perfect storm: technological interference on one side, economic pressure on the other. And in between, us, human beings trying to navigate life without realizing that we are in the middle of a silent war for our energy. Most people don't notice it. They feel tired, but they think it's just because they didn't sleep well. They feel anxious, but they blame it on their job or the news. They feel disconnected, but they assume it's normal to live this way. They don't realize that much of their struggle comes from an invisible imbalance, a subtle yet powerful disruption in the very field that sustains them. So what can we do? The answer isn't to abandon modern life or fear technology. It's about restoring connection, piece by piece, moment by moment. Take off your shoes and let your bare feet touch the ground. Even a few minutes a day can help your body discharge stagnant energy and reconnect with the Earth's natural current. Spend time away from screens, especially before bed, so your nervous system can return to a natural rhythm. Seek out places in nature where you can breathe deeply, away from the constant buzz of man-made frequencies. And perhaps most importantly, reclaim your energy from the systems that drain it. Pause before you give another hour of your life to worry or fear. Remember that your true worth cannot be measured by numbers on a screen. We are living in extraordinary times. Never before has humanity been so connected through technology, and yet so disconnected from the living world. But beneath all the noise and interference, the Earth's steady heartbeat still hums. It waits for us to remember. It waits for us to return. This is not about rejecting progress. It's about building a bridge back to balance, so that technology serves life rather than disrupting it. And so that the energy you give and receive each day feels aligned with who you truly are. Because you are not meant to live in a cage of signals and screens. You are meant to flow, like the rivers and winds, in harmony with the great magnetic field that gave you life in the first place. 7. The true nature of evolution. When people hear the word evolution, they often think of science books and diagrams, ancient creatures crawling out of the sea. Humanity, progressing step by step, building tools, inventing machines, reaching for the stars. We've been taught to believe that evolution is about external progress, about how clever and advanced we can become in the physical world. But the older I get, the more I see how incomplete that definition really is. True evolution is not about technology or accumulation of knowledge. It is about energy, about the invisible field that flows through you, shapes you, and connects you to everything that exists. We live in a time of astonishing innovation. We can send messages across the planet in seconds. We can travel faster, build higher, and know more facts than any generation before us. And yet, for all this advancement, many of us feel more anxious, more disconnected, more lost than ever. Why? Because technology evolves faster than our consciousness does. We've built external structures of power and progress, but we haven't always taken the time to cultivate inner strength, to refine our energy, to grow spiritually. You see, evolution isn't just what happens to the body or to society. It happens inside you, in the quiet choices you make each day, in the way you respond to fear, in the frequency you emit into the world. I used to believe that change required huge, dramatic actions, that to evolve meant to have some great breakthrough, or to achieve something remarkable that others could see. But life has shown me a different truth. Evolution is built from the smallest, most ordinary moments. Each time you act with integrity, even when no one is watching, each moment you choose courage over fear. Even when your voice shakes and your heart pounds, each instance where you choose love instead of selfishness, kindness instead of judgment. These may seem like small things, but energetically, they are monumental. They are like invisible bricks, laying the foundation of a strong, coherent energy field that supports you now and carries forward beyond this lifetime. Imagine your energy field as a house you are building day by day. Every choice you make is a brick. Some bricks are strong and radiant, filled with light. These are your moments of honesty, compassion, and courage. Other bricks are weak, cracked, or even toxic. These come from deceit, cruelty, or fear. Over the years, your house takes shape. You may not see it with your physical eyes, but it is real. And when this life ends, the structure you've built doesn't disappear. It becomes the foundation for what comes next, the starting point for the next chapter of your soul's journey. This is why spiritual traditions speak of karma, of sowing and reaping, of cause and effect. It isn't about punishment or reward in a simplistic sense. It's about the natural law of energy. Whatever you cultivate inside yourself, you carry forward. I've met people who seem to radiate peace the moment they walk into a room. You can feel their presence before they say a single word. It's as if their very being is in harmony with something larger than themselves. These are often people who have been through great suffering but have used that suffering as a catalyst to grow. They've chosen, again and again, to refine their energy instead of letting pain harden them. Their evolution didn't come from acquiring wealth or status. It came from the quiet work of tending to their inner field. I've also met people who seem trapped in cycles of anger, fear, and bitterness. No matter how much success they achieve, they never feel at peace. Their external lives may look impressive, but internally, their energy remains tangled and chaotic. The difference between these two groups isn't luck. It's energetic evolution. One person has chosen to raise their frequency, while the other has stayed stuck in old patterns. This kind of evolution doesn't happen overnight. It happens step by step, choice by choice. Every act of integrity strengthens your field. Every moment of courage adds stability. Every choice of love over ego adds light. Sometimes, these choices are difficult. It's far easier to stay silent than to speak the truth. It's easier to hold on to anger than to forgive. It's easier to protect yourself with walls than to risk vulnerability. But each time you take the harder path, the path of growth, you are lifting your frequency. You are becoming more than you were yesterday. And here's the beautiful part. Your evolution doesn't just benefit you. It ripples outward, touching everyone around you. Your raised frequency naturally influences the fields of those near you, offering them a glimpse of what's possible. In this way, your personal evolution becomes a gift to the collective. I used to think that when I left this life, everything I had built would simply vanish. But over time, I've come to understand something far deeper. Your energy doesn't end when your body does. The field you've cultivated, every choice, every vibration continues. It's like planting a tree you may never sit beneath. You nurture it now, knowing it will grow and provide shade for those who come after you. Your energy works the same way. The effort you put into raising your frequency today becomes the inheritance you pass on to future generations, to your own future self, to the fabric of the universe itself. So what does true evolution look like? It isn't flashy. It doesn't always come with applause or recognition. Sometimes, it looks like staying calm when anger would be easier. Sometimes, it looks like admitting you were wrong. Sometimes, it's the quiet act of sitting in meditation, breathing deeply, and choosing presence over distraction. These moments may seem small, but they are the very essence of transformation. Each one is a step upward, a shift toward greater harmony. We are all evolving. Whether we realize it or not, the question is not if you will evolve, but how will you cling to old wounds and patterns, repeating them endlessly? Or will you choose to raise your frequency, to refine your energy, to become a more radiant version of yourself? True evolution isn't about reaching some final destination. It's about the journey itself, the ongoing practice of becoming, and every day, With every choice, you have the chance to build something beautiful and lasting. Brick by Invisible Brick. In the end, the greatest gift you can give yourself and the world is to consciously participate in this process. To live in such a way that, when you take your last breath, the field you leave behind is strong, coherent, and filled with light. A field that says to the universe, I was here, I grew, and because I grew, everything around me was lifted too. 8. Community connection. The resonance of many energy fields. There's a quiet truth about human connection that we often overlook in our busy lives. We tend to think of ourselves as individuals, separate and self-contained. But beneath the surface, beneath the skin, and the stories we tell ourselves, we are fields of energy, constantly interacting with one another in ways that go far beyond words or actions. Just as a single note can fill a room with sound, a single human being with a strong, coherent energy field can influence everyone around them. Their presence alone can bring calm where there was tension, light where there was heaviness, clarity where there was confusion. You've probably felt this before walking into a space where someone is deeply at peace and sensing that peace settling into you, like a sigh you didn't know you were holding. Now imagine what happens when not just one, but 10 people come together, all aligned, all grounded in harmony. Something extraordinary begins to happen. Their individual fields start to weave together, creating a vortex of energy far greater than the sum of its parts. Science might not have the instruments to fully measure this yet, but you can feel it. It's there when a choir sings in perfect unison and the audience feels chills ripple through their bodies. It's there when a group gathers to meditate or pray, and suddenly the air itself seems to shift, becoming lighter, more alive. 10 people, aligned in intention and frequency, can influence an entire community. Their collective field acts like a beacon, quietly radiating stability into the surrounding area. Without ever speaking a word, they begin to transform the energy of the space they occupy, soothing unrest, dissolving conflict, inviting healing. And if 10 people can create such change, what about 1,000? Imagine 1,000 hearts beating in coherence, 1,000 minds focused on peace and compassion. The ripple effect of such unity could calm a city gripped by violence, fear, or chaos. It may sound impossible, but there are places in history where this has happened. Moments when entire regions shifted not because of policies or leaders, but because enough individuals chose to align their inner worlds. The change began quietly, invisibly, in the field, and only later did it become visible in the outer world. This is why sacred spaces matter. Temples, monasteries, and holy sites were never built randomly. Ancient builders understood that certain points on the earth hold unique energetic qualities, natural nodes, where the planet's magnetic lines intersect, creating powerful centers of influence. When groups gathered at these places to meditate, pray, or perform rituals, they amplified not just their personal fields, but also the field of the earth itself. The energy generated there didn't stay contained within walls of stone. It rippled outward, like concentric circles on water, touching villages, towns, and entire regions. These sacred spaces were the original healing networks, not built for isolation, but for connection. They served as tuning forks for humanity, helping to bring entire communities back into balance. I once visited a monastery nestled high in the mountains. The journey there was long and difficult, and I arrived carrying my usual bundle of worries and thoughts. But the moment I stepped inside, I felt something shift. The air was still, yet charged with a subtle vibration, like the low hum of a distant song. Without anyone saying a word, I felt my breath deepen, my shoulders drop, my mind quiet. Later, a monk explained that for centuries, people had been meditating in that exact spot, day after day, year after year. Their collective presence had imprinted the very stones with peace. The field they had created was so strong that anyone who entered it, even a restless traveler like me, could feel it immediately. That experience changed me. It made me realize how much of our suffering comes not just from our individual struggles, but from the fields we live within. If we want to heal ourselves, we must also tend to the collective energy we share. We are deeply affected by the people around us, whether we realize it or not. A single person carrying unresolved anger can disrupt the balance of an entire household. Likewise, a single person radiating compassion can bring calm to a group in turmoil. This is why the work we do on ourselves matters so much. When you heal, you don't heal in isolation. Your coherence becomes a gift to everyone you meet. You become a steady presence in a world that often feels chaotic and uncertain. I've seen this ripple effect firsthand. I've watched as one person's inner transformation inspired their family to communicate differently, which then influenced their friends, which eventually shifted the energy of an entire community. It always starts small, like a single candle lit in a dark room, but light spreads. It always has. Modern science has begun to catch glimpses of this interconnectedness. Studies on meditation groups have shown measurable decreases in crime rates and violence in nearby areas. These findings suggest what spiritual traditions have always known: when enough people align in peace, the world outside responds. This isn't magic or coincidence. It's resonance. Just as a tuning fork can cause another to vibrate without touching it, coherent human energy fields naturally bring surrounding fields into harmony. In a world so focused on individuality, it's easy to forget that we are part of something larger. We live in a shared field, constantly influencing one another. The anger you hold doesn't stay locked inside you. It ripples outward. The love you cultivate doesn't stay private either. It too, ripples outward. Knowing this gives you power. It reminds you that every inner shift matters, not just for you, but for everyone around you. When you choose to align with compassion, honesty, and love, you are contributing to a global network of healing. Even if you meditate alone in a quiet room, you are never truly alone. Your vibration joins with countless others, weaving an invisible web of light across the planet. Perhaps this is what ancient builders understood so well. Perhaps this is why they placed temples and sacred sites at those special intersections of energy to create a living map of balance for the earth and its inhabitants. So the next time you feel powerless in the face of the world's problems, remember this: you don't need to change everyone. You only need to tend to your own field. Because a single person radiating coherence can influence hundreds. 10 aligned souls can shift a community, and 1,000 united hearts can bring peace to a city. Change begins within you, but it never ends there. Your energy is not just your own. It is part of a collective song, and every note you play matters. Choose to play it with love. 9. The quantum memory of the soul. There's a moment, near the end of a life, when everything goes still, the breath softens, the heartbeat slows, and those gathered around can feel that something unseen is about to take place. We call it death, and we speak of it with fear or sadness, as if it were the end of the story. But the truth, as I've come to understand it, is far more mysterious and far more beautiful. Death is not the end. It is a transition, a passing of energy from one form to another. The body may return to the earth, but the energy you've cultivated throughout your life does not simply vanish. It carries on, like a river flowing into a larger sea. This energy your field is the sum of everything you have lived, every emotion you've felt, every lesson you've learned, every act of love or cruelty, courage or fear, is woven into this invisible tapestry. And when the final breath leaves your body, that tapestry remains intact, holding the story of your soul. Think of it like a vast quantum library, filled with pages written in light rather than ink. Each page contains the vibrational imprint of a moment in your life, a memory, a choice, a realization. Some pages shine brightly, filled with harmony and growth. Others may be darker, carrying the weight of pain, confusion, or unresolved wounds. When you pass on, you take this library with you. It becomes the foundation for your next chapter, the next lifetime, the next form your soul will inhabit. The work you've done in this life doesn't disappear. It ripples forward, shaping what comes next. I've seen glimpses of this truth, both in my own life and in the lives of others. There are moments when a child displays a talent or wisdom far beyond their years, as if they've brought some hidden knowledge with them into this world. There are moments when you meet someone for the first time and feel an inexplicable connection, as though you've known them forever. These are signs of the continuity of the soul, the threads that weave one life to the next. The field remembers, even when the conscious mind forgets. But here's the difficult part. The field doesn't just carry beauty and wisdom, it also carries pain. If your energy has been fractured, filled with chaos or resentment, that vibration is recorded, too, and when you cross over, you take that imbalance with you. It's like moving to a new house but bringing along all the clutter and broken furniture from the old one. No matter how beautiful the new space is, it will still feel heavy until you take the time to clear and heal what you've carried forward. This is why inner work matters so deeply. The practices of forgiveness, mindfulness, love, and alignment aren't just for making this life better. They are investments in your future selves. The more you cleanse and strengthen your energy field now, the more freedom you give yourself later. I've known people whose lives were filled with bitterness. They held on to every slight, every betrayal, every wound, like stones in a bag they refused to put down. By the time they neared the end of their lives, that bag was so heavy it seemed to crush them. Their bodies reflected the weight illness, rigidity, exhaustion, and when they passed, you could feel the turbulence of their energy, like a storm that hadn't yet found rest. I've also witnessed the opposite. I've sat beside elders who radiated peace in their final days, their eyes clear and bright, even as their bodies grew frail. They had done the work of releasing, of forgiving, of letting go. And when they crossed over, it felt like watching a bird take flight, graceful, unburdened, free. The difference between these two endings wasn't luck or circumstance. It was the state of their field, the frequency they had cultivated through a lifetime of choices. You don't have to wait until the end to begin tending to this field. Every moment offers an opportunity to clear a little more, to bring harmony where there was discord. Each act of kindness, each breath taken with awareness, each time you choose love over fear, these are like threads of light woven into your tapestry, slowly replacing the knots and tangles. This work can feel subtle, even invisible. It doesn't come with certificates or applause. But over time, you begin to notice the difference. Your relationships become smoother. Your body feels lighter. Your intuition sharpens, guiding you toward choices that align with your deepest self. And beneath it all, there's a quiet knowing, I am preparing for what comes next. Modern physics speaks of quantum entanglement, the idea that particles, once connected, remain linked no matter how far apart they are. I believe our souls work in a similar way. The experiences you've had, the people you've loved, the lessons you've learned, they don't disappear when a chapter ends. They remain woven into the fabric of your being, shaping the path ahead. This is why healing is never selfish. When you heal yourself, you aren't just changing your present life, you are changing the future of your soul. You are breaking patterns that might otherwise echo through lifetimes. You are planting seeds of light that will grow long after this body is gone. Imagine entering your next life, carrying the vibration of clarity, peace, and freedom. Imagine walking into that new chapter without the heaviness of old wounds or unresolved pain. This is possible, but it begins now, with the choices you make today. When you forgive, you lighten your field. When you speak truth, you strengthen it. When you sit in stillness and allow love to fill you, you expand it. Little by little, you are building a frequency that will outlast you. Death, then, is not an ending to be feared. It is a passage, a doorway through which you carry the essence of all you've become. When you understand this, life takes on a new depth. Ich moment matas. Not because you must achieve or prove anything, but because every thought, every action, every heartbeat leaves an imprint on the field you will one day hand over to your future self. So live with care, live with courage, live with love so deep that when the time comes to cross over, you do so lightly, like a soul finally remembering its wings. And when you arrive at that next beginning, you'll bring with you a field filled not with chaos and pain, but with harmony, wisdom, and the unmistakable vibration of freedom. You are the field of energy. There comes a moment in every journey when you stop searching outside yourself and begin to see clearly what has been there all along. For so much of our lives, we're taught to believe we are only our bodies, our thoughts, or our emotions. We identify with our names, our stories, or past mistakes, and future dreams. But beneath all of that, beneath the skin, beneath the memories, beneath the endless chatter of the mind, there is something far more vast, far more enduring. You are not just a human being moving through the universe. You are the universe, temporarily wearing the form of a human being. You are a living field of energy, infinite and interconnected, expressing itself through this moment, through this life, through this breath. Every thought you choose, every feeling you nurture, every action you take leaves an imprint on this field. It is as if you are painting on an invisible canvas that stretches far beyond what the eye can see. Whether you realize it or not, you are constantly shaping the frequency you carry, and that frequency shapes the way life responds to you. The universe does not respond to the words you speak. It responds to the truth of your vibration, the silent signal you send out through your energy. You can tell yourself, I am peaceful, I am loving, I am free. But if beneath those words there is fear, anger, or resistance, the universe will respond to that deeper vibration instead. This is not punishment. It's simply how energy works. Just as a tuning fork will vibrate to the note you strike, reality resonates with the frequency you embody. This might sound overwhelming at first, but it is actually incredibly empowering because it means you don't have to control the outer world in order to create change. You don't need to convince, manipulate, or force anything outside of you. All you need to do is tend to your own field, moment by moment, breath by breath. The shifts you make inside will naturally ripple outward, shaping the space around you in ways you cannot always see, but will eventually feel. The journey begins with the smallest of steps. When you feel anger rising like a storm inside you, pause. Take one conscious, deep breath. That breath is not just air moving through your lungs. It is you realigning with the natural rhythm of life, resetting your field to a place of clarity. When you are faced with a choice between fear and love, lean toward love. Even if it's only by a fraction, that single choice adds light to your field, strengthening it, healing it. When the world feels noisy and overwhelming, allow yourself a moment of stillness. Close your eyes, sit in silence, reconnect with the hum of the earth beneath you. In that quiet space, your energy begins to knit itself back together, piece by piece, like a tapestry being repaired. I've lived through times of deep darkness, moments when I felt broken, powerless, and disconnected from everything and everyone. During those times, I tried to change my outer world. thinking that if I could just fix what was out there, I would finally feel whole. But every attempt only left me more exhausted, more lost. It wasn't until I turned inward that everything began to shift, not in a sudden, dramatic way, but slowly, like dawn, breaking over a dark horizon. With each breath, each moment of awareness, I began to feel the subtle truth of my own field. I realized that no one could truly harm or control me unless I abandoned myself first. And as I rebuilt my energy, as I tended to it with care, my life began to change. Not because the world itself magically transformed, but because my frequency did. The way people responded to me shifted. Opportunities appeared where there had once been obstacles. Chaos dissolved into clarity, and fear into trust. This is the essence of quantum transformation. It is not about creating miracles through force. It is about remembering the miracle you already are. The energy that flows through you is the same energy that spins the planets, grows the trees, and lights the stars. When you align with that truth, you no longer feel small or separate. You begin to see that the boundaries between you and the universe were never truly there. So start simple. One deep, conscious breath. One moment of stillness in a hectic day. One decision to speak truth when a lie would be easier. One act of love when judgment tempts you. These small choices are not small at all. They are how you reclaim your field. They are how you strengthen the invisible structure of your energy until nothing, no person, no system, no circumstance can manipulate or diminish you. And here is the beautiful secret. When you change, the world around you begins to change as well. Not because you forced it to, but because your field now radiates a different vibration, like a tuning fork, bringing others into harmony. Your alignment naturally invites others to align. 2. The transformation ripples outward, touching lives you may never even meet. Remember this above all else. You are not a fragile piece of the universe, powerless and small. You are the universe itself, alive and awake, experiencing itself through your unique form. When you know this, truly know it, fear loses its grip, doubt fades, and you begin to live not as someone struggling against life, but as life itself flowing, creating, expanding. So take a breath right now and feel it. Feel the energy that moves through you and around you. This is who you are. This is who you have always been. You are the field. You are the light. And you are free.